It's the sure sign of a good time. The just right taste of Bud Light. Here we go.
We're talking football with Tony Softli and Rick Venturi on 101sports.com.
Welcome to Talking Football today. I'm Tony Softli. The personal man sitting next to me is Rick Venturi. Let's get today's topic.
Today's topic, takeaways from the Rams' loss to Philadelphia.
Well, you know, Tony, basically, I asked 3 questions last week. There were 3 questions that were in my mind. Number 1, could they protect Sam? Okay. Number 2, could they get separation with receivers so they wouldn't just be an inside passing game? And number 3, could the defense hold up for 4 quarters? Because I never saw it stressed in the preseason. You know, and unfortunately, in my eyes, all 3 answers were no. I don't think it's terminal, but all 3 answers against Philadelphia were no.
And I will agree with everything you said there. I think for me, you know, the dangerous part, the nightmare part of this whole game was Michael Vick. And I think what he did to set the tone, you got the best player probably on the field that day, okay, with the ball in his hands every play. If it wasn't, he was passing to McCoy, if he was passing to Deshaun Jackson, Macklin, Selleck, the tight end, or he was putting it down and running. When they squeezed him and they tried to blitz him too much, he went outside and ran. We've seen that in NFC South. I was at Carolina, you were at New Orleans. Yeah. It's an ugly movie, and that's what happened yesterday.
We've seen him since he was a pup, and there's no doubt about it. He's as good as ever, if not better. No doubt about it from that standpoint. I thought the biggest key, though, basically, Tony, was you had to stay very even with Philadelphia. You don't want to get behind Philadelphia because then you take a defense that can be mediocre, but then you make it great.
Absolutely.
Because once they're able to turn their ears back and rush and press you up front, now you got trouble. That's where the giving them a 7, not making a field goal, and letting them get to that 10 to that 14 spread, I think really made the difference.
Well, I totally agree with you on that. I think, too, also, you talk about keeping even. They lose Steven Jackson after the first play. That really killed a lot of the run game. Cadillac came in and did a good job, 91 yards, 49 on the receiving. But I'll tell you what, when you're missing one of your big horses like that first play of 47 yards, if Steven Jackson would have been in that game, he might have run for 250 yards.
I agree with that. I think that Philadelphia adjusted a little bit. But in reality, though, you like Cadillac for what he is, a north-south thruster. Right. But Jackson is one step quicker getting back to those cutbacks, and they were wide open all day long until, again, they got taken out of the game plan.
You know, we talked about the offense of Philadelphia. You know, when I looked at the defense for the Rams, they struggled to get past those guys. I mean, those guys really played well. The only time that the Rams defense got to Vick was on blitz packages. Can you talk about that?
Well, there's no doubt about it. And I was, you know, as I went into the game and I've had to construct defenses, he does distort your thinking defensively because you always are worried about him. I used to be exhausted when the game was over, win, lose, or draw, to be honest with you. The only effective rush, you're exactly right, was the double-edge pressure. Whether it was 2 corners, 2 backers, it didn't make any difference. Anything else, he found a way to beat it. And then I think he exposed the secondary a little bit with the Rams. When they couldn't get there, they also couldn't stay with people. There were a lot of wide open guys. And, you know, it's just, I think it will get better. I think the Giants are a really good team coming up, but I don't know that they possess that kind of skill.
Sure. You talk about the Giants coming up Monday night. Steven Jackson's probably going to be questionable. Danny Amendola's out. There's no question about that. You got the right tackle and Smitty with the high ankle sprain. You got a couple other key injuries. Sam Bradford with the index finger. Is there nerve damage? Is there not? We know it's not broken. Going in Monday night, New York City, the nation will be watching. That's going to be a tough situation.
No, that's a tough one. I mean, you know as well as I do from a coaching standpoint because you were a coach before personnel. You got to prepare it without those guys, both mentally and physically.
Absolutely.
You have to ready your team. No excuses now. We're going to play good behind Feely. All the great things that are said, you have to do that. And then you have to tactically prepare without those guys. It's not going to be easy. The Giants are a very solid team, but they're coming off a tough loss too. One of the keys, Tuck didn't play yesterday. Right. If Tuck plays, now they got 2 grown men on the edges. That's the toughest thing. But I don't think they give you I like Ross and Webster, but I don't think they can press you to death like the 2 guys from Philadelphia. I think you can get some air.
Yeah, let's say Sam Bradford doesn't play. A.J. Feely, can he do it?
Well, you know,
I'm scared about it.
We've heard about it. You know, he's had some moments. I don't think he's looked real good in the summer. You know, he hasn't played since 07. but maybe with a week's practice, at least he has some veteran leadership in there. And, we'll see. We'll see.
He's been around the league long enough.
He's been around long enough,
and
if he gets all the reps in the course of the week, I mean, you've kept him because you believe in him. They got rid of a good young kid.
This is an emergency quarterback, an emergency situation. He's got to come up with it.
There it is.
That's a wrap with Talking Football with Tony Softli and Coach Venturi. Until next time, we'll see you soon.